Hello again, you're listening to the news at 1. Ireland is at risk of becoming a flyover country with little connectivity to the rest of the world, unless the government acts to reopen air travel, according to the CEO of one of the world's biggest aircraft leasing companies. Aengus Kelly is chief executive of Dublin-based leasers AerCap. He says we need rapid COVID testing at our airports to facilitate safe travel in and out of the country. Writing in the Irish Times today, he argues that other countries have already restarted large-scale air travel or are preparing to do so. Aengus Kelly, Chief Executive of aircraft leasing company AerCap, joins us now. Very good afternoon to you, Aengus Kelly, and thanks for talking to us. Minister Donnelly is saying there we're working through the options on this in relation to COVID testing at airports. What's your response?
I believe, Brian, that the country must be prepared to open up for air travel, and many countries we know have already done this. There is plenty of testing capability available in Ireland right now that can be used. I can say this with certainty because we've bought that testing capability for our own company. Furthermore, the head of Dublin Airport said to the Oireachtas Committee that he has a supplier that will conduct large-scale testing that will not impair the ability of the HSE. It's available right now from a supplier who does an awful lot of the NHS testing in the UK. I think we owe it to all the citizens who are losing their jobs, do not have the ability to pay for their mortgage or their car insurance, to have this in place. Many citizens' livelihoods are being heavily impacted by an inability to put this in place and to have it in place in the coming months.
I mean, obviously, comprehensive, rapid COVID testing at our airports, if the numbers travelling were to get anywhere close to what they were before the pandemic, would be a very substantial operation. It would be costly. What are you saying about how quickly it could be put in place and what it might cost?
Well, Brian, if we look today, someone can come into the country from anywhere in the world without any test, and we trust them to quarantine for 14 days. Right now, there is plenty of testing capability available, and we could say to those people instead, take your PCR test, which the Minister just described as the gold standard. That is available in this country and in other countries. The individual will have to pay about €100, but that can be done right now. I would prefer to know if someone is coming into this country that they have a negative test rather than just trust them to stay at home for 14 days. That can be done right now. The point about this is preparation, Brian. You correctly say that what we must do right now, if we have a big surge in travel, then we wouldn't be ready for it. But that's not going to happen until next summer. The country must prepare. Otherwise, airlines won't come to the country. And now we're going through low levels of travel at any time of the year during the winter. Mm-hmm. And this is the time to start preparing. The small country must be agile. We can't be slow and lumbering.
We've seen air travel in many parts of the world simply shut down. There are still countries like the United States which have very restricted access. Australia, New Zealand, Southeast Asia, many countries there have very limited air access. Is it not alarmist to say that by sticking with these restrictions for some time further, Ireland risks becoming a flyover country?
No, it's not at all, Brian. We're a very small country. We don't matter in the global economy. We have to maintain our relevance. In the United States, Brian, just to give you actual numbers, they went from, their bottom was 87,000 passengers a day in April. Today, there's almost 1 million air passengers a day in the United States.
Internally, a lot of those.
A lot of it is internal, Brian, but the United States is an enormous country with their own interior lockdowns. For example, Hawaii had a complete 14-day quarantine for all travel from the mainland. That will change on 15 October, where they will require a PCR test to be conducted 72 hours prior to arrival.
Okay.
That is something we could quite easily do. And many countries in the world, all over the world, are establishing air bridges now. And we have not done anything.
We'll no doubt be coming back to this, but for the moment we'll leave it there. Aengus Kelly, thank you very much for that.